I'm Lester Holt.
Howdy, Holtheads. Kurt Money here, alongside my co-host,
Kateline.
and we are here to discuss the Dateline episode of Life Interrupted, which aired March 1st of 2024. New interviews and never-before-seen evidence about the murder of Jennifer Dulos.
Wow, brief.
We say murder because we got stuff with blood and whatnot, and people are convicted, but there still ain't no body, right? Mm-hmm. So there could be a disappearance of Jennifer Dulos. But anyway, Kate, tell me your overall thoughts. What'd you think of this ep? What'd you think of Murphdog?
I was really surprised that Murph had an episode that took place in Connecticut instead of Florida. And Connecticut feels like it's AC territory. So I'm like, what's he doing in Connecticut?
Yeah, that's true. On the Talking Dateline, it sounded like he had been with this story for a while.
I've got some questions for Dennis. He's been following the case for 5 years now.
Have you seen this one? Do you remember this one?
I don't.
Okay, I remember it because of something that happens halfway through, which we'll save. I remember being unbelievably upset in the justice of karma, I suppose, that something happened midway through. But here's the other thing I really remembered, Kate, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to guess it. Do you have a guess?
No.
His name, Fotis.
His name, Fotis Dulos.
His name, Fotis. Here's what I remember is this original episode aired in 2019, right? I mean, it makes me think of POTUS, which itself is new to me as of Obama. I feel like I do not remember saying POTUS about people pre-Obama. What do you think, Kateline?
Was that because Twitter was invented during the Obama administration and his Twitter handle was POTUS?
Maybe. Wait, I didn't know that. I'll bet you. I mean, I put money on it that that's why. I think that you just answered my question because it's the first time that everybody's seen that acronym all together all the time. Mm-hmm. Like before the president had a handle, we never thought of it that way. That's totally it. Okay, so that's what I thought in 2019, and guess what? Nothing's changed. 2024, I'm going Fotis. Wait, that kind of sounds like POTUS. Wait, blah, blah, blah. And I had the same thing, so thank you for answering that, Kateline.
Here's Dennis Murphy.
It was a Murphdog ep. He did some Murphdog stuff. He did some stuff I was a fan of, which we'll get into. I thought that Murphdog earned a few points with me. And I'm not here to say that they didn't go out and get people in her life, because he literally had a round table of friends of Jennifer's. But how'd you feel about the main talking head in this being a local reporter again?
That immediate day after, it was the lead story on every single newscast.
What'd you think? Did that bump you or no?
I don't think it bumped me. I did like one of Jennifer's friends that we spent a lot of time with.
Oh.
She was like doing this the whole time.
Rana!
She was like being real coquettish
Kate.
and flirty and like
Kate!
so soft-spoken and like...
I'm scared to just even say.
She's not interviewed as much as Carrie. Carrie is the Janine Garofalo one. Mm-hmm. That is like, it's not Gone Girl.
It has absolutely no parallel with the plot of Gone Girl. None.
Now, what I want is a sitcom with Carrie and Rana, this coquettish lady that we're talking about.
Who didn't love Jennifer?
I want to know if those two ever had to hang out. Those are some two warring personalities. What do you think? Sexy baby and like over it Gen Xer?
Maybe.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
As soon as she started talking, every answer she gave, I was like, okay, is she trying to Murphdog right now? What's happening?
It was that shoulder work.
It was pretty funny.
She kept bringing that shoulder
Yeah.
up like, I'm just a little girl.
Yeah. And the hair would be down. Yeah. I can't even talk about it. And then also the first B-roll, the establishing of this friend in Jennifer's life is her carrying a mug with two hands like it's chili, which is just a classic thing for her to be up to. Just drinking my tea. Oh, hey, shoulder, tea, bangs.
I love Jennifer.
May 24th of 2019 in New Canaan, New Jersey or something? Where is it?
Connecticut.
We just talked about it. Connecticut. And actually, this you're going to love. When we're sitting here going, why didn't AC do this? On the Talking Dateline, AC is talking about how much she related to Jennifer Dulos because she's got hella kids and she lives 15 minutes away from them. Mm-hmm. That's literally her hood.
It should have been her app.
Crazy.
Which was really eerie as I'm watching it because she lived 15 minutes from me. This woman was a mother of 5. I, at the time of this crime, had 5 children.
So Jennifer Dulos takes her kids to school. They've got 2 sets of twins and another one. 5 kids total. Drops them off at school and comes home. We see her black SUV on like ring cams or whatever, pull back into the driveway. We don't see that car leave again for like 2.5 hours. Shortly after we see the car leave at 10:30, Nanny shows up and she's looking around. She can't find anybody.
The nanny noticed that the granola bar had not been eaten.
And so she's concerned. And then there was a doctor's appointment Jennifer was going to, and she was supposed to meet up with her mom, and none of those things happened. So right now, all the alarms are going up. She's missing. This is where we got to talk about the relationship between Fotis and Jennifer. They were friends in college, but then met by chance at an airport, which is kind of crazy, in like Denver or something later on.
Years later, that airport reunion in Aspen led to an engagement, and not one, but 2 wedding ceremonies on both sides of the Atlantic.
And they'd been married for like, I don't know, 10 years or something like that, 13 years. But in 2017, Jennifer found out that Fotis was having an affair. And so she says, I'm out of here. Bounces with the kids and all her stuff and gets a place 70 miles away.
And she hires a bodyguard.
You're right.
She hired bodyguards and she ran to New York.
Because she was afraid of what Fotis would do for revenge. It was a real weird thing where it was like, he's going to come back at me and I don't know how. Or something, right? Like she was afraid of him physically.
She said Fotis would retaliate and alleged that he had described sickening revenge fantasies.
I was a little confused as to how she was able to rent a huge house 70 miles away. She didn't work. How did she pay for that?
I bet I know. Her parents. Her parents. Because guess what? Her parents were also the bankroll for f***ing Fotis. Okay? Nothing Fotis did or started was anything on his own. It was all because of a $2 million stake that Jennifer's parents gave him.
He owed her close to $2 million. In court filings, she indicated it was money he borrowed to fund his luxury home building business.
So all this talk, Fotis is supposedly like a high-time realtor. I only sell mansions that all look exactly the same.
He was a home builder in Connecticut, and he specialized in estates and mega mansions, and anyone who was watching or knew of him would have assumed that he was very successful.
He established himself as an award-winning builder of custom luxury homes.
It turns out he wasn't actually that successful.
No, and so now they are 2 years into divorce proceedings. It's a real contentious relationship between Fotis and Jennifer.
Things quickly got ugly.
Mostly because Michelle is very much in the picture. Michelle is the other woman. Michelle is someone that Fotis met because they're both water skiers.
Fotis Dulos and Michelle Traconis had met at one of these private ski clubs in Miami.
To which I say, just like Remy, all it took for him to stray was for one other lady to be interested in something he's interested in. And then he was like, oh, I'm with you now. Same thing here. As another water skier that he can go out and party with and not have to worry about kids and responsibilities.
And she lived in Miami, so there was some distance there where he could go off to Miami and have the time of his life and get away from all of his responsibilities.
Right, yeah. Hey, Miami, maybe that's the Florida connection they got. Maybe that's how he got it first. Maybe that, I don't know. I'm trying to think why Murphdog would... Look, we know for a fact they don't prefer Murphdog to AC, right? That's not up for debate, correct? No offense to Murphdog. Okay, I'm going to defend him tonight, and I like the guy.
It's nice to have a buddy.
But why else would they pick him? There's got to be something else. Okay.
You know, I had a suspicion that Fotis actually had money troubles when they showed the house, the dream house that he built for his family. It was something like 7 bedrooms, 8 baths. No swimming pool, no tennis court.
You're right.
Nothing on the grounds.
You're right.
That's like a base level house. That's like builder grade furnishes. He just barely got that house built.
That's a good point. It's like, well, I got it. We're in the good neighborhood and everything, technically. We did it. So we're millionaires and stuff.
Yeah.
Ah!
The cops head on over to Jennifer's house. They take a look around the garage. And they find all sorts of stuff.
Oh, right.
Obviously, her car is missing. There's blood spatter on the other car that's still in the garage.
Yeah,
There's some kind of cleaning equipment that's missing, implying that it had been used. There were all sorts of rolls of toilet paper that were there before, and now the maid says they're gone.
Paper towels. That's the nanny that gives testimony later. There were 12 rolls of paper towels, only 2. So that means 10 rolls were used. 10 rolls.
It's a lot of blood.
She also noticed 2 camping pillows from the garage were gone.
When the cops were given the tour of that garage, did you have an opinion on these cops? Because I thought that my eyes were rolling so hard. They thought they were miniature Columbos. They thought they were so smart, Kate. Did you hear them?
Yeah, it doesn't sit well with me, especially because it's like a pattern here.
Well, they probably don't get a lot of action in New Canaan, Connecticut. It's pretty safe.
But the stuff they're talking about is like, well, there's blood spatter, right? And they go, oh, it's in kind of a pattern. What's that? And I'm like, okay, whatever it is. They find blood spatter. It's in a pattern. Fine. And then they're going,
usually if you hit a deer and there's blood in your car, you take it to the car wash and get it cleaned, especially a Range Rover.
and I'm thinking, hey guys, detectives, are there any dents or any signs of a collision on this car too? Don't you think if she hit a deer, there might be other stuff here other than just blood spatter? You f***ing dills. Right? What do you think? What do you think?
I agree.
Okay.
That Range Rover was pristine. There were no dents.
The blood spatter was like underneath it, right? So it's like there was a struggle.
Signs of it.
But all the signs were cleaned up. But there was a struggle that happened in that garage, probably on the floor right there, right? While they're fighting, blood spatter gets on this other car.
Mm-hmm.
My personal beliefs, based on the blood spatter, a serious violent assault occurred in that garage.
Cops also find her car at a park or like off on the side of the road near a park, not too far away. And the car is in reverse. It's not even in park. So they think...
And the lights are on, so somebody hopped out of there.
Right. That car was ditched. So they think they better look for her in those woods. And they do, and they find nothing.
Right.
Divers scoured the ponds. Helicopters crisscrossed the 300-acre park.
The cops are gathering security footage from various ring cams of houses or like street cams of like, you know, from the city or whatever. They're looking at like hours and hours or hundreds of hours of videotape. And there's a number of things that videotape gives us. But what is the main discovery that they make with Fotis on videotape?
He is down in Hartford, Connecticut, throwing things away in the public trash cans. Multiple. Like he's dropping parts of bodies and stuff at various trash cans.
Yeah.
Getting rid of evidence. That's what it seems.
Yeah. I mean, that alone, the act of throwing trash out in public places at various spots, you're already guilty as hell. We don't know what yet, but you're guilty of something. Okay? Mm-hmm. But then this dumbass, when the cops are looking at all this footage and seeing him toss stuff, so they're going around to all these trash and they're looking in, and at that spot, they show footage of POTUS and somebody in the front seat of his truck. They're throwing stuff out, and they see POTUS put something in the drainage, like the sewer grate, right?
Fotis.
What'd I say? Did I say POTUS?
POTUS.
Hey, man. Okay. Fotis puts something like a package down in the sewer grate. So the cops go out there with a pump truck. That's what they call it, a pump truck. That's dope.
Sergeant Ventresca called in a pump truck to clear out the storm drain.
They stick the hose down the grate. They're sucking it in, and they hear a thunk come out. It's a FedEx envelope with 2 plates in there, 2 license plates for Connecticut. They're the same license plate number, but one of the plates, tape has been added to it to make it look like it's another number.
The original license plate, 516WDJ, had been modified with dark blue tape to read 5T6WBU.
Now this is where I start to crack up. Is because the cop, the detective who loved being on Dateline, boy did he even talked about puzzles. Okay, one of your favorite topics. He talked about puzzles on the stand. He goes, so first we run the doctored plate.
Okay, so we run the altered plate, doesn't come back to anything, and so we just run the regular license plate and it comes back to Fotis Dulos.
Hey Kate, why the would anything show up in the system for a number that was created using masking tape? Like why didn't then they go, nothing came up, so we checked the real plate? That should have been your first check, bud. What do you think?
That was weird.
I mean, what are they looking up? They're looking up a fake number. Like
that was weird.
That was hilarious. So they find these places. This to me sinks Fotis. It's hard to convince me otherwise. They don't find direct links to him with the trash. When they're interviewing Michelle a few times, they love to talk about this bloody pillowcase.
That's blood. That's Jennifer's blood.
They don't know it's blood, and they don't know it's a pillowcase. They're basing that on the same footage that we're looking at. Mm-hmm. They have footage of a guy going to the trash can and pulling it out, but that's it. Like, they never found any of that stuff.
Right.
Police never recovered that pillow. They didn't tell Michelle that.
Michelle, she's brought in for an interview, and she lies. And she gives Fotis an alibi and insists that she saw him that morning at his house. She was there with his lawyer. They were all hanging out. Then She comes...
Yeah, and they showered together. She had to throw that in there.
Including taking a shower together and Fotis being in his office.
And a couple days later, she returns to the cops, this time with her lawyer, where she starts to tell more of what happened, but still not the total truth. And they have to keep breaking her down before she actually admits what happened. And in the meantime, they find a piece of paper where, in her handwriting, where she has written play by play what happened that day. And it's basically so that she and Fotis could get their stories straight about where they were at what time. And she even says Fotis told her to write it down so that she doesn't forget, which is shady.
Suspicious. Like, and they showed the list a few times, and it's broken down into increments of 10 minutes. Like, one time it says 7 a.m., crossed out 7:10 a.m. Oh, okay. Got it, Fotis.
The detectives pointed out not only had she lied, but one event was missing from what they called her alibi script, that drive around in Hartford.
I mean, right now it's leaning towards, I think Fotis did it, basically,
Yes.
is what I'm getting at.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of Jennifer's friends also thought that he did it. They implied that Jennifer was scared of him and that he, like you said, was going to do some kind of retribution for her leaving him.
Yeah.
Talking about his scary revenge fantasies, how she's frightened of him.
Even though he had moved on, and even though Jennifer's parents were his cash cow, he still wanted her dead.
Well, that's why, I think, because this is what I think. Fotis Dulos is a faker. He doesn't have money. Jennifer Dulos comes from old money, and she has money, and that money's not going away. But when the market's down or whatever, Fotis will be affected completely if it's just him. And his business is already failing. So, like, I think that he was doing this murder even just to stay with Michelle. Because we hear about Michelle's background. She was a reporter for ESPN Venezuela or something. Like,
she did PR for a polo club in Abu Dhabi, taught therapeutic horseback riding around the world, and even had a brief stint as an on-air reporter for ESPN in South America.
She's a jet setter. She's all over the world. She's also privileged. Everybody in this story is privileged, they said. Like, Michelle is used to that lifestyle, too. I don't think Fotis was prepared to have her over to a 2-bedroom apartment while he's looking for a place. I don't think Fotis had that in his head. What do you think?
I think you're probably right.
That's what.
I thought it was interesting, too, that during the custody battle, Michelle wasn't allowed to be at his house when he and Jennifer's kids were there. So every weekend she had to fly back to Miami. Why not just get a hotel?
Yeah.
Or a motel? Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So the cops are looking at all this footage, and they're seeing also a white Jeep go back and forth between properties. That ends up being Michelle's. And then more ring cam footage comes in. They zoom in on the fireplace, and Murphdog is like, hey, it's Memorial Day weekend. Come on, what's going on here?
Where the chimney, moments later, according to investigators, is seen with that smoke coming up.
It's Memorial Day weekend,
Right.
Janet.
Memorial Day
Let's
weekend.
have a toasty little fire going?
Yep.
He was having fun. What'd you think about that fire, though? Does that sink him?
Do you think they were burning her body?
No. They were not burning her body, absolutely, because there's no way that fire can get hot enough to burn a body, and there would be stuff left there. There would be forensics caked in there. What I think they were burning was maybe the paper towels that were covered in blood and stuff. But guess what? If I'm in court and I'm a judge, I say we can't use that because even though it sounds crazy for someone to light a fire on May 31st or whatever, I know so many lunatics who have put fires on when it's like hot outside. Like, there are psychopaths that do that because they're like a cold person, right? That doesn't seem crazy to me. What do you think?
It seemed weird to me because in my mind, those kind of big mansions and estates, the fireplaces never actually get used. Or if they do, they're just gas. They're just for show.
Good point.
To see smoke coming out of the chimney of a new build mansion is just odd, I think.
The cops, they're gathering all this info, and there's also this thing that we'll talk about with like one of his employees named Pavel. Oh, I forgot to ask at the beginning of this episode. Forgive me, Kate, but I just want to make sure real quick. Is it okay if I say bad words? Can I say bad words?
Bad words?
Remember what Pavel says that on the stand?
Can I use bad words?
Yes. I thought that was pretty funny and cute.
Yeah, that's cute.
Okay, so they've got a lot of stuff on these two, and they've got enough. They're convinced, and they're together at like a hotel somewhere, right?
Right.
but they were arrested together, correct? Okay, so they go to jail. Bond. Is it bail or bond?
Well, she gets out. I think she gets out on bail, but he's out on a $50,000 bond.
It's a $6 million bond or bail or amount. So that means that they've got to pay 10%. So that means $600,000 that they need, right? Michelle has that no problem. She's walking out of there. Fotis, though, he spends another night in jail because, like we're saying, he does not have that kind of money. And Murphdog loves pointing that out too, going, oh, really? 50 grand shouldn't be anything to him. What's 50 grand to Fotis? And I'm like, you're right, Murphdog. Keep pressing it.
But he's the builder of 15,000 square foot luxury homes.
Right.
He should have a lot of money. All he needs is $50,000.
Right. But apparently that was too much.
So he can't get out. Then he pulls some finances together. A buddy steps up. He puts up some of these great homes up as collateral that he's won awards for building. And so now Fotis is out too.
A few days after that search, Fotis came up with the cash and was released from jail. But the case against him was building.
Uh-oh. Next day, phones start ringing. What's wrong with those houses that he owns?
Houses that he put up for collateral were under foreclosure.
And it's like, those don't belong to him now. They belong to the bank already.
Womp, womp.
So, okay. So now they're saying, Fotis, guess what? You got to come back to jail. Sorry.
The judge wanted him brought to court that day.
All right. So everybody's waiting for everybody to show up. There's Fotis's lawyer. There's the detective. There's the prosecutor. No Fotis. Well, he's wearing an ankle bracelet, which Murphdog said ankle bracelet.
While under house arrest and wearing an ankle bracelet, Fotis sat down with Dateline.
But anyway, Murphdog had some crazy pronunciations. But anyway, point is,
Murphdog puts the emphasis on the wrong syllable quite a bit. Ankle bracelet.
An ankle bracelet.
Later when he's reading a note, he says, if it takes my head to end this, so be it. That's what he says. So be it. But it's like, so be it.
If it takes my head to end this, so be it.
What was the one I called out earlier?
Spoiler alert. Because...
Spoiler alert.
And actually, this is good. Yeah.
Spoiler alert. It's a twisted tale of a woman who vanishes.
So before all this bail stuff happens, and they're waiting for Fotis to show up to go back to jail because he doesn't have any money and he's a total faker, Fotis's lawyer, this ponytailed presents a theory that is so frustrating, and he did it for the reason why he did it, in that will become the focus, right? Like, you shift focus and whatnot. And so he suggests that, well, hey, Jennifer was a writer, and she wrote this unpublished book that bears similarities to Gone Girl.
Pattis said Jennifer wrote an unpublished novel echoing the plot of the popular book Gone Girl.
Which is like, oh, really, somebody wrote a ripoff of, like, a massively successful summer read? Like, okay, I'm not shocked yet, but anyway, continue. And this lawyer says, hey, we're investigating it. We don't know if she's dead. We don't know if she killed herself, but she could still be out there. What do you think about that Gone Girl theory?
No mother would leave her 5 children. In the movie and the book Gone Girl, they don't have children. So...
Good point. Excellent point.
So she can leave whenever she wants. Jennifer's not doing that. She's got 5 kids who she adores and takes care of every single day. She's not Gone Girling herself.
A fire in July?
And then her friends love to point out, yeah, the book she wrote, it's not at all a version of Gone Girl. It's like a suspense thriller, but it's not about disappearing yourself.
Yeah.
So that whole connection was just completely contrived.
That was the Janine Garofalo friend, Carrie, talking about it. And I could feel her pain because she's like, it has nothing to do with that movie.
None.
And then also Murphdog throws in, and Carrie says, the plot in the movie wouldn't actually work in real life anyway. That cracked me up.
Not only that, she says the Gone Girl scheme would be virtually impossible to carry out.
So nobody's talked to Fotis. We all want to know what Fotis is thinking. Who got that scoop? Who got that one and only interview with Fotis Dulos? Who was it?
That would be Murphdog.
Murphdog got it. Yup. Murphdog sat down with this guy, I guess in 2019.
The question everyone wanted answered, we asked Fotis Dulos himself.
Do you believe Jennifer is alive?
I do.
In his only network television interview.
Now, this was my favorite Murphdog performance. What did you think about how he did with Fotis?
I gotta be honest with you, Kurt. I was not paying attention to Murphdog. I was all eyes on Fotis.
Ew. Why? Don't tell me you thought he was good looking. Kate.
He's extremely good looking.
Ugh. Of all the cliche attractive guys, for you to say, yep, me too, why's it gotta be Fotis? Huh? Why's it gotta be this guy?
Because he's...
I wonder. You think he's good looking? I say,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's very good looking, Kurt. That's... You're being a little bit of a baby right now. You're just being like, he's classically handsome, therefore he's an uggo.
No. I'm presenting that as... you are never attracted to classically handsome people or beautiful people. You always got a Kateline angle that I never see coming. And this guy's so down the line attractive, I guess I'm disappointed that you agree that he's down the line attractive.
Well, I'm only human. Kurt, I'm only human.
I'm scared to just even say.
That lady was not at the round table of friends. She was an old neighbor, which is, wait, did we talk about how Murphdog addresses the fact that she came from a life of privilege?
She came from money. Did she let you know that?
But the person that he asks, was she down to earth, is this friend, is this whispery, sexy baby friend. Like, she's clearly another rich neighbor that, like, you can't ask her.
Right. She said that everyone loved Jennifer. How could you not?
She could just sit down and drink a Diet Coke and eat some French fries. That's how down to earth she was.
Jennifer would love to just curl up on a sofa and watch TV and have French fries and Diet Coke.
She loved Diet Coke and French fries, right?
That just means she's a human being.
True.
Although, I don't mess with Diet Coke.
You don't?
Mm-mm. I love Dr. Pepper. I love Mr. Pibb. I love Pibb Extra.
You're a fan. Pibb Extra. You hear that? Kateline would like to be a spokesperson for Pibb Extra. What do you think?
Totally.
Okay. So we're at Fotis' house. Murphdog's interviewing him. It's abundantly clear right away that we're not going to get anything out of this guy because he is sitting there saying, oh, actually, I can't talk about that. Sorry.
I'd like not to discuss this.
Ooh, yeah, I can't talk about that either.
But again, I would rather not speak about Jennifer at this point.
I would love to, but it wouldn't be fair to the memory of the wife that I murdered. We can't talk about it. Those are my marching orders.
But he's...
How'd you think Murphdog did with this?
I think he could have pried a little more, but I want to think that Fotis' lawyers were right off camera, and he really couldn't say much more than he said. But he really wanted us to know that...
Why do it then? Why do it?
He thought that Jennifer was still out there somewhere, and he just wanted her to come home.
Yeah. I just wonder, like, he did the interview, so he got to say stuff like that, and also stuff like, I wanted to strangle my TV. I know he wouldn't feel it, but I wanted to. Is when he goes, why he's a good father? Well, I'm much of a kid myself, Murphdog. So that makes me a good dad.
I'm a kid myself in many ways, so I think I was a natural father.
It's better than I look at those kids in the eye, so I'm a good dad.
Well, that's what the best fathers do. Okay? Only the best fathers make eye contact with their kids.
Is Nick a good father?
Yes.
So good.
He looks them in the eye.
I think Fotis did that interview because he knows that he's charming and good looking, and he wanted to win favor with viewers, general public, so it might help him at his trial, it might help him in the press, it might even help him with an appeal if he gets convicted. I think that was his thinking going in.
Yeah, but I don't think it worked. I feel like the reason why he did it is described in Gone Girl. Like, I was surprised Murphdog didn't make a gummy bear reference. Remember when Ben Affleck's practicing him talking and Tyler Perry was like throwing gummy bears at him?
What are you doing? Every time you look smug or annoyed or tense, I'm gonna hit you with a gummy bear.
That's supposed to make me less tense?
Let's try it again.
I don't know. This whole thing just felt, there was nothing you got out of it. But I thought that Murphdog did press him a little. And I thought it was funny. And there's one time when he asked Fotis, and the way that Fotis said it, I could just tell on the inside he was mad at Murphdog.
But it never did get settled, did it? The divorce?
No, it didn't.
But anyway, sounds like that stud really worked his magic on you. After this interview, where's your head at? Did Fotis do it? Or are you like, I don't know?
No, I thought he did it, regardless of what he looks like. But apparently he wasn't able to wrestle those demons inside him. Because what happened, Kurt?
So there they are. They're waiting for him to show up because of that rescinded bail. They go over to Fotis' house. They go in the garage. There's a tube tied from the exhaust in the car to the window. Inside is poor, gorgeous Fotis Dulos, dead as a doornail. He done killed him. Well, actually not yet. He's still hanging on to life. But attempted suicide is what he does. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, he's guilty. Or if he really was innocent, he wouldn't have taken his own life because he had 5 kids.
Yeah. And he does say that in the note, because he left a suicide note. And the point of his note is, I can't spend one more night in jail with people thinking I did this. And he thinks, and so to end this, I'll kill myself. Which isn't true. It just ends it for you, my guy. Like,
also, it's jail. It's not like it's a supermax prison.
Well, I don't know. He loves those ski vacations and stuff. I think he was looking at a full calendar year with no slopes in his life. And he was like, can't do it. Can't do it.
That's fair.
So Fotis checks out. Clearly he's guilty. Also in the note, he says, and also Michelle, my girlfriend, and my lawyer, they didn't have anything to do with it. And as they point out, well, that's interesting. If you didn't do it and you don't know who did it, how do you know if they didn't do it? Good thinking. So of course, Fotis did it.
I'll be.
His lawyer may have done some of his bidding as well.
That lawyer, I got a lot of questions. Dateline didn't answer much. They certainly posed a lot. Who is this guy? Why is he making that evil guy face in his mugshot? How is this guy a lawyer? Like, what was that guy's deal? What was his deal?
Why was he at his house all the time? Is it his divorce lawyer and the divorce was that crazy that he needed to be there every day?
She told detectives she did see Fotis' lawyer, Kmon, that morning, but not Fotis.
So now, Fotis is dead. We got this lawyer, but we don't have much on him. Who do we go after now? But Michelle. And so now the second half of this episode is the trial of Michelle, which just happened, like a few months ago, I think.
Right.
So they got a lot of stuff on her where, like, she was driving a car to and from, or why she was there the morning of the murder and all this. I'll admit, everything that they're saying Michelle did makes her sound guilty AF. But I don't think she did it. I don't think she was involved. How's that make you feel?
I think she was an accomplice. Whether or not she was present for the murder, I don't know, but she was definitely helping him throw things out.
If that were true, because I agree with you, she was on that trip with the throwing out of the trash, and nowhere written on their list was them going on a ride to that town.
Mm-hmm.
She looks guilty as hell. But by this point, she would have flipped on Fotis. The guy's dead. At any point, if she could say, okay, you're right, I was involved, I do know where the body is, she could get like a 10-year manslaughter or whatever out of it. Easy.
Well,
Don't you agree?
She may not know where it is, but I do think that she was part of something that day.
But you think that Michelle is strong enough to go through multiple interviews with police and never crack? You think that she's holding strong for why? For Fotis? Not for her. If she was involved at all, I just think as soon as he checked out and left her, because Fotis killing himself, it's like, well, now Michelle gets to deal with it. So if I'm Michelle, I'm kind of mad at Fotis. I don't understand why she still hasn't said one word about it. Because maybe it's possible she didn't know.
Maybe. Or maybe her lawyers are advising her in a way that you don't agree with. Her story changed several times. She's shady.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, do you know how pleased I was when I found out that the morning shower together was fake?
Including taking a shower together.
Because that means that they added it, and they added the extra flourish of them being so in love that they showered together that morning. That's what happened in their fake reality, and it was like, nope, that didn't even happen. That was fun. That was fun for me, laughing at that.
I don't like showering with other people.
Well, it's been so long. I'd be down to do it again just for shits and gigs, but yeah, I mean, it's cold. You gotta take turns and whatnot.
It's cold. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Even if you're doing fun stuff, it's cold.
No, because one person's always over there. It's still cold somewhere. No one is completely warm in shower sex, I feel, if that's where we're going with this.
Unless there's multiple shower heads.
Yeah, which is always the dream. It'd be pretty sweet. Don't you dream of having like a giant shower head thing? What do you think? Just covered in them.
Yeah.
You love real estate. Surely you've got a dream shower in mind.
Yeah, I do. I don't necessarily like those overhead rain showers, though.
Good, honey.
So, we're on trial. Oh, hey, okay. So one of the many people that they brought up to the stand was the nanny that had been with them for 12 years. Now, this nanny, AC pointed out she was wearing a necklace that had a 5 on it for those 5 kids. And she's still their nanny.
She was wearing that necklace with the 5 on it?
Yes.
For the 5 children. She was wearing it in court.
So the nanny loves those kids and still takes care of them every day today. That's kind of cool. I was surprised when I saw the nanny. My first thought was this was going to be the other woman. And she looked similar to Jennifer in a way that if I had a significant other, I'd be worried about hiring a nanny that looked like that. What do you think? You see where I'm going?
I didn't pick up on that at all.
Really? You didn't think she's hot? Nothing. You were like, this uggo. Nothing.
I didn't say she was uggo, Kurt. I don't remember her.
Oh, fair. She looked way too hot. Because Fotis is clearly the kind of guy that'd be trouble for, obviously. I'm just shocked that nothing was between them, because she even says on the stand, like, I defended him. Like, I didn't think he had it in him.
Why did they need a nanny?
Well, somebody's got to watch the kids while they're hitting the slopes.
No, but...
While they're all on all their vacays.
Jennifer, she was the nanny when Jennifer was still around. But Jennifer was a stay-at-home mom.
Jennifer, well, she was hard at work writing 4 plays in just 5 years.
Jennifer threw herself into writing, completing 4 plays in just 5 years.
Oh, one of the things in the trial that didn't make any sense to me. I'm sitting here, I agree It looks like Michelle did it. I don't know. I'm genuinely convinced enough that because she hasn't said a word about Fotis being anything, I don't think she knows anything, because there's no reason to protect him now. I feel like she'd be singing a song left and right, especially now that she's convicted, I think. But
And her sister feels the same way.
yeah, she does. That poor fam.
Her sister got up there on the mic at the press conference after the trial and was saying she doesn't know anything about it. This is crazy. My sister is innocent.
Yeah.
She doesn't know anything. She's innocent. Thank you.
I feel if she's involved at all, accomplice style, if she was involved in the cleanup, she's guilty of it. Sorry about it, but you're guilty of it. But that wouldn't be that many years. I don't think she was in on this plot. And I think that Fotis kept it from her on purpose because she's the reason why he's doing this. Because of my theory that she would know that he was a faker and a phony.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But getting rid of Jennifer doesn't get him a big payout.
It does, because all the money that are attached to the kids, he could get his hands on that. All those kids are tied into the Dulos money. But Fotis isn't, because probably a prenup, right? And also because he was unfaithful. So he wouldn't. That's what they're supposing, and I think that's what it is. I mean, because if I couldn't imagine that guy living a life in jail and stuff. I could see him wanting to do a murder so that he could keep posing in photos on top of snowy mountains with tiny glasses on and stuff.
And what did the jury think, Kurt?
Well, the jury disagreed with me. They thought Michelle was hella in on it because they found her ass guilty.
Guilty of conspiracy to commit murder and hindering prosecution and tampering with evidence.
Guilty. Now, I don't remember the sentence. Do you? Did they say the sentence?
I don't remember.
Oh, huh.
Future Kurt might know.
He might. He don't. Future Kurt here, no clue on the sentencing because it hasn't happened yet. That's how fresh this is. And also, like you just heard in that clip, she was guilty of conspiracy to commit murder. So it kind of sounds like she's going to get the thing that current Kurt is talking about, 10 years or less or something. I don't know. Only time will tell. But he don't. Back to the show. All right, well, Michelle's guilty. Fotis is dead. So Shannon Miller was the name of the news correspondent lady.
This is not someone who wants to be seen at all on camera.
One that made me think of Shannon Miller, the Olympic gold medalist from the early 90s. Do you remember her? Or no? Remember Shannon Miller?
No. What sport?
Okay. Gymnastics?
No.
From the 92 Olympics? You may have been a touch young for the 92s.
Oh, really?
What?
Because I'm so much younger than you?
No, I was 8. I was barely old enough for it to register. I'm saying you were then. That's pretty young. Oh, wait, sorry. You were an age that was not 8. My bad. I'm going to have to bleep that now.
Yeah.
Way to go, Kurt. What did you make this red Tacoma?
That was a car that Fotis borrowed from his employee.
Right, but they found out because after the murder, a red Tacoma had showed up to a Fotis property. And they were like, why is this here? Is that Fotis's car? And so then they go back to all of that security footage. And that's when they see a red Tacoma truck going back and forth. And that's when they see a bike tire sticking in the back. Hence their theory that he pulled a number where he stashed your car and then rode the bike home.
Oh, yeah. There was video surveillance of someone on a bike. And Murph...
Yeah.
Oh, no. And one of the cops says it looked like the Grim Reaper. And I'm thinking, well, it's missing a cloak and a scythe.
It looks like the Grim Reaper on a bicycle.
It's just a guy on a bike.
Yeah. Wearing all black. That's it. I'm with you. I'll tell you, these cops, you know what it is? It's their CTU-looking headquarters with their Minority Report finger wall. They actually had a wall-sized thing where they're doing the zooms and the pinches. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. They did show that.
I mean, this new Kmon place is popping off.
Capital City Command Center, a high-tech facility that captures feeds from more than 700 cameras placed on busy streets and intersections throughout Hartford.
So I think this guy's just fucking cocky. He's got a budget that doesn't end, and he just thinks he's Mr. Detective, and I'm not impressed because I'm with you. Grim Reaper burn didn't work, okay? He just was a guy wearing dark clothing riding a bike. Sorry.
It's an affluent community.
Yeah?
The police force has way too much money with nothing to do.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that brings us to our lists. Kateline, you got anything for me?
Kate's unnamed list. It is not a small town, as I said,
Nope.
It's a very nice community. Technically a far suburb of New York City. A lot of commuters. There is a Florida connection, though, because Fotis and Michelle met in Miami when they were water skiing.
That's right. They did.
No military, though. And
Nope.
I don't think anyone cried and apologized for it.
Carrie almost did. During that roundabout sesh with Murphdog in the lilac sweater, okay? Carrie was talking, started to cry, well up, stops talking, doesn't say sorry, just says never mind, and then they move on.
Thought of that, but you just put that to the side. Like, how is this my life? Well, this is my life. And anyway, yeah.
It was so close. It was so close.
Doesn't count.
Wait, I forget if I set this on mic or off mic, or perhaps even both. But that detective I don't like.
He looks like the Grim Reaper on a bicycle.
He said the puzzle metaphor. I think puzzles should be on your list. Did I already say this today?
All right, let's add puzzles.
Cool. There it is. Puzzles.
It's like a puzzle, right? You take a piece, you put it in the puzzle.
All right. So that's it for you, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Kurt's Kick-Ass List.
Kick-Ass List.
Also a goose egg. Nothing. I even watched it going, this watch is going to be all about list items. Nothing.
No.
I just kept thinking about the TV show I want to watch with Carrie and Rana, with the sexy baby and the over it Gen Xer.
But I think you and I can agree that there were signs of struggle in that garage. They just didn't say it.
Yeah, look, I hear you, but I got to hear it. I got to hear it
Totally.
for it to count.
Totally.
I appreciate you looking out for my list.
We know it's there. They just don't say it.
They just don't friggin' say it.
No.
Yeah, that's good. That was good, Uncle Reuben.
No.
That was pretty good. That's going to do it, folks. Be sure to tune in next week. We talk about the episode, The Killer on Camera 4. Ooh, love that title. I cannot wait to make an episode poster for that friggin' title. Speaking of the posters, be sure to check out our Instagram. It's at I'm Lester Holt. Email us, imlesterholt@gmail.com. Be sure to rate and review and subscribe. Smash the like button, peeps. And that's going to do it. I'm Kurt Money.
I'm Kateline.
I'm Lester Holt. For all of us, I'm Lester Holt. Good night.
Holiday Eve.